Hello, ladies, gentlemen, others. Welcome back to another fantastic stream. Today is card review. Specifically, you had to design a character based off of the people who dueled and played in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And we had 14 entries. We only had to cut one of them. We almost cut two. But thankfully, I was able to get the person to rework a card. So they dropped 2/3 of the text. Over 2/3, I should say. But we got a couple minutes while Blaze loses horribly at Deadlock. So we'll take any questions.
I just lost. It was an ass. It was so bad.
We have a couple minutes until Blaze is done ranting and raving about losing at Deadlock, so if we could take any questions.
Oh, actually, I have a question for the audience. So I have the ability to commission Hikari for several new NPC tokens for DC. And I was wondering who you guys wanted us to go ahead and get new tokens for.
Excuse me.
Ooh, that
It would have to be a character that's alive, Anubis, unfortunately.
True.
We got Miku in the chat.
I have one in mind, but she's an NPC.
Makes sense. Anyone else?
Anubis is like, listen here, you little shit. Oh. Pro Tycoon does have an original design.
True.
They want to
debuted
push
in the last episode, right? Or yeah, it was the last episode of debuted. No, it was the one before last debut.
Someone said Makona.
Makona? Who from Makona? Miku, Quinn's brother Ryan. I'm already getting. So I'm currently. Okay, let me go ahead and list out some of the ones we're currently working on getting. So all of the idols are getting new artwork. All the contest winners, duh. Let's go ahead and just get rid of it.
Kat and Vanessa, hello and welcome.
So all the contest winners, Ryan and Legacy.
Ooh, Nubis says, what about Butterfly VT? Virtual Butterfly, I'm assuming.
MC... Oh, VB, Video Butterfly?
Yeah.
I mean, I could do a Video Butterfly one. That'd be interesting. I don't know if it'll come up again anytime soon, but we could do that.
Yo, butterfly.
Y'all have fun.
Oh, first time chatter. Hello. What's their name?
Cats in Venice's soul card painting?
I'm just going to refer to them as Kat.
Good idea. Oh, hello, Kat. I am so happy that you came in and wanted to say hello.
Oh.
What's the stream about? Well, at the beginning of the month, we were taking submissions for Perfect Draw decks of 6 cards. And they had to be based off of the characters from Yu-Gi-Oh! And now, myself, Connor, and Blaze are going to be reviewing them. And then later this month, I will post up the new entries for next month, which was going to be open season, so anyone can submit any cards. We will have to see what day we do that because I already have plans for the third Saturday or the third Sunday of that month. Are we getting new crest art? Who knows?
Oh, we might get new crest art.
Also,
Another question, more so compliments. I recently watched the first episode of Legend of Zelda. Although there isn't much to take in or theorize on, I'm at least interested. I even showed a close friend of mine, and we're looking forward to the second episode. Fantastic. Those are supposed to be releasing every 2 weeks.
Yes.
They're going to supposedly alternate with DC.
Also, if you want to catch them live when they premiere, as long as you remember to make sure they premiere, I will do my best to host watch parties for those. So anyone in the Discord can hop on in and join anyone else who decides to join and watch the series. It's very fun. We even had a few players on, actually, who were also in the watch party, so it's fun to talk with them.
Yep, it's really fun to go ahead and watch the new episodes as they are done with you guys, because I'm not one of the editors, so I don't get to see the whole editing process. So to me, it's all brand new whenever we get to watch it. We recorded it a decent bit ago, so to me, it's all brand new.
Anubis, yes. I only woke up like an hour ago after coming home from work and then working to make sure all these cards were approved. And then I took a 2-hour nap and woke up and was like, I should eat before stream. And then my food wasn't ready in time because I was trying to struggle with getting the new roles set up on the server.
Sorry about that. No, I can't mean to do that myself. I'm sorry.
Also,
oh my god, ads.
I have recently discovered Vanessa Stockard is a artist, and yeah, that profile is quite literal. What they mean by Vanessa Stockard painting, because these are amazing. It's like the Cupsy creature from Yu-Gi-Oh. Hold on, Blaze, you might have new material for a deck in DC.
Oh, those are very much cats.
Those are not.
Oh,
just
I've
cats,
seen this
those
art
are-
before. Yeah, I've seen this art before. I love that stuff. That's so
It's
nice.
so pretty.
I'd like to
You're watching
point
both
out,
YouTube and Twitch?
Minty's
Oh, Lord.
pointed out when you post those pictures, moi.
Yeah, Minty. I think Minty had that as like her profile pic for a while.
Maybe I knew she had like one of the Cupsy cards as her. Like, it's the same energy.
Forgive
Actually,
me
do you
on
think
asking,
the,
but what did I miss? Nothing yet, rival.
Yep, we haven't started yet. Is that maybe what the that one archetype is based off of a little bit? Not the same
Probably.
vibe.
You know, it's very likely not. It's. I'm so glad Konami made that creature and everyone just latched onto it.
Blaze, write that down. That's an idea. Anubis had one.
Yeah, no, those are like the exact. Wait, what idea?
Summary videos for
Oh.
each arc of DC.
Oh yes. Yeah,
Kat,
we should go ahead and do
run,
that.
We run a perfect draw live actual play. We were the first ones. And we even had the creator on the show for a little bit. But we have our own, which is inspired by a bunch of different series, and it's called Dimension Chasers. If you like, feel free to check it out. It's on the channel. I think we're up to 70 episodes now.
About, yeah. But,
I'm
like,
new to the streams, trying to catch up on DC. Also, quick question: do decks submitted need to be player decks, or can we do them for NPCs? Just make sure you specify if it's an NPC or a player deck, because if it's not specified, we'll probably judge it as a player deck.
Yeah, I'm the only one in the team who's got a lot of experience with NPC decks. So, though I'd like to just assume that it's meant to be a player deck.
Yeah. Normally, what we are going to be doing for deck submissions here is 1 month is the theme, next month is freeform. So next month is freeform. This month's was Yu-Gi-Oh characters. So next month is free. And then I will have a poll for the Patreon members and the YouTube members on the Discord to see what the next theme submission is going to be. y'all were doing this series before Perfect Draw was even fully released. Yes.
Correct.
We even got to help promote the Kickstarter.
Yep. Because I
was
think
awesome.
wasn't one of our actual plays like on the Kickstarter site or something?
It still is.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How do you submit decks? We have an official Discord. They are closed at the moment, but the new one will be opened up soon, and you can get your entry in via the Discord. There will be a notification post with a link to a Google form to submit your cards, complete with all the rules and everything else. No, you're in the book, right? Yes, page 191.
Why does everyone forget Caro?
Caro and Ellie both in there, if I recall correctly, they said.
Yep.
I actually think I heard some chat a while ago where there was talks about more Perfect Draw content coming out and what might be a campaign module or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it picks up continuing off of the demo kit actually from the
We've been thinking of doing that as well, Anubis. That is actually something on the docket for us to do. It's just we are stretched a bit thin with editors.
Yeah, I might have to learn how to edit just so we can start catching up with some of our ideas because we have more ideas than we do editors.
We have 2.5 editors right now, with a third one that we have to pay a lot more for.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those editors is me. I'm not the half editor, by the way. All right. I have not had time to put this up on the Wheel of Spin. So we're just going to go through these in order because we don't have a metric ton of decks. Connor and Blaze, do you both have the Google file thing open?
No, give me one moment. How would you post it?
It should be in the DC chat.
I just put a bunch of art that we're using for references for Legacy there.
Well, that sounds
Is
like
that-
a you problem.
It is now. Here it is. Alrighty.
But yeah, Blaze, if you ever want to learn Vegas, I will sit down and show you exactly how I work on it. You just need a copy.
Okay.
If I can learn it in a week, you can learn it in a week.
Oh, jeez.
It is time for the RGB trio to judge your souls, aka cards.
All right,
Are
so
we RGB?
no,
well,
we're
your
not.
main color is associated is green, Nell's associated with red, and I have blue hair. Red, blue, green.
Wait, how? Okay.
I'm looking at your Discord icon, not your not your current profile on the couch.
Alright. I have it up, and I am ready to go. You are now.
Okay. So we're gonna go through these again in submission order. We had one that was one that is a knocked out because they only submitted a document, and I tried to give them extra time to submit, and they didn't get back to me till like 3 days after the close. So, all right, the first one here is, let's see. This one is credited from Low.
Ooh.
Hey ho, it's Low. I'm building a deck to represent my boy Yuma from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Bit basic, but sometimes that's all you need. Po-po-po. Summon your warriors and fight against the odds to build the overlay network. Your spoils of battle, the ability to summon your ace. Number 39, Utopia! I'm so far behind on DC. I just finished watching the Idol concert. Hey, no problem. Enjoy.
Nothing wrong with that.
DC is a wonderful trip. Fusion
I love
Destiny.
the Idol concert. That's a fun part. Sorry.
This card starts outside the deck and can only be played through Fuse keyword using one or more specific warriors. Its strength and abilities are unaffected by the monsters fused, except for the abilities gained through fusion potential. This does not count towards your minimum deck count. By Aria 51 for those looking for more freedom in fused-based strategies. Okay, let's bring this deck up on screen. Dododo Warrior is a normal warrior. Fusion potential strengthen. If this warrior wins a clash, gain fusion potential second strike. Go Golem is a normal warrior with blocker, fusion potential resilience. If this warrior wins a clash, gain fusion potential a life drain. The Gaga Magicians, normal warriors, fusion potential spell jammer. If this warrior wins a clash, gain fusion potential shatter. Invocation, rank up Astral Force, follow up. Target warrior loses all instants of fusion potential and gains the keywords instead. Normal item, Overlay Network, Spelljammer. When a warrior on the field wins a clash, they gain fuse. And the ace, normal warrior, number 39, Utopia! Overwhelm, gain Piercer for each card this one destroys. Fusion Destiny, Overlay Network, +1 warrior. All right.
That's really cool. So I'm going over novelty, and I really, really like this. I was wondering I myself have been thinking about doing a little video series of shorts talking about how to replicate different, anime protagonists, like card game anime protagonists, be it Vanguard, Buddy Fight Vanguard, all that kind of stuff, and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was wondering how you would get the extra deck mechanics to work well. And I honestly love the fusion potential idea, where it's like a special area outside of the game, and then you have to fuse into it with specific materials. Very old school fusion. I like it a lot. And then I love that it's Fusion Destiny. It needs Overlay Network and a warrior. So, and then Overlay Network also helps you do it. And the entire deck is around fighting, and the fighting gives you your actual So kind of what you want to do is you want to have the network on the field, and then you attack with one of your warriors, giving them a second fusion potential ability, and then you fusion into your you build the Overlay Network and fuse into Utopia, and I think it's really, really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 4.
All right.
So the expression of how you do this as Yuma's cards, I really do like you using Fusion Destiny specifically as a way to show off the Overlay Network and everything. I think overall, I think you did a lot of good stuff representing a bunch of Yuma's cards. I do love the Astral Force rank up card. I think that one's a pretty fun way to show that. I think my only gripe is, because I'm looking at these as more than just how well do you translate the cards over into Perfect Draw from the game, I'm looking at how do you represent the character in these cards. And I think you did a lot good with Yuma's very headstrong, risky plays. I'm only going to give this a 4, specifically because I want to see more of the high-risk, high-reward stuff. And Utopia is famous for negating its own attack to then go double or nothing with other support cards to then hit as hard, or hit twice as hard. I still think you did a very good job. I think 4 is a very good scoring for this. I could see a little bit more push for improvement, but I think this is really good what you did.
All right, for line of play, your goal for this kind of deck is you would want to get your item, your warrior, and then immediately fuse after winning a battle. So, turn 1, you would want to have that item in play. Turn 2, you play your warrior and try to take out whatever they have on the field. Then immediately fuse and immediately attack again. That is honestly your best line of play. And you're probably best to do that with... what is it? Dododo Warrior. So that way you get the strengthen and the double strike on your number 39 Utopia. So it's already a strong with double strike. And that's 4 damage if you've already cleared their 1 warrior that they would have had on the field. So that's game right there. So honestly, I would say this is a solid 4 for offensive capabilities. That being said, if your item is destroyed, you are basically toast until you get all your cards in your graveyard and are forced to, to spend a life to reshuffle them all back in. So yeah, I would say it's a 4.
Well, it does have Spelljammer, to be fair.
Yeah, but the Spelljammer doesn't work on the item is the problem.
No, the item has Spelljammer.
It can still be attacked.
True.
Yeah. Items are at least a bit tankier than warriors, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not giving it a low score. I'm giving it a 4, right?
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
Will the link for the deck submission be on the Discord? Yes, when the new one opens up, it'll be available there. Anybody who submits their deck, they can post it in the card discussion channel if they wish. But yes, we open these at the start of the month. All right, moving on to deck number 2 from Pokemon. This deck is meant to be close to Siegfried von Schrödinger anime deck as possible. That includes a strategy of dissecting your opponent's resources and cards while boosting yourself for potential OTKs, or just attacking over everything. High on offense, low on defense outside of clashes. If you somehow have the means to counter plays, it can't bounce back easily. Particularly, I chose to condense the Triple Goddess combo into 1 card for all our sanity, but it does effectively have the same result as the combo of Goddess Scold, Oracle Goddess Verdande, and Guidance, and Goddess Urd's Verdict from the anime. The keyword is Oracle. Reveal up to 3 cards from the top of the opponent's deck. Place them back in any order. If an NPC is the opponent, reveal 3 random power or simple card moves. Choose one. They must play that card on their next turn. Alright, so let's bring up these cards.
Interesting.
What character is this? Hold on. Let me bring up the picture that they have for them, because they did make an explainer card with the picture.
Yep. Siegfried von Schroeder?
Yeah. They're also from Zexal, I think?
They are from OG.
Yeah, they're from like that Kaiba Cup arc that happened right after Battle City.
Okay.
Or no, it happened after Waking the Dragon with Yori Kalkos, maybe?
The weird filler arc?
Yeah, it was that weird filler arc.
Okay. By the way, somebody please keep count. I want to see who had the most submissions by the time we're done here. So we have 1 for Zexal and 1 for Duel Monsters. Somebody keep count.
Okay. You keeping count or am I keeping count?
Chat, you keep count. Deliberation of the 3 goddesses. Once per turn, Oracle. Choose 1 revealed card to destroy. Ride of the Valkyries. Play any number of Valkyries from hand. They are destroyed at the end of turn. Mischief of the Time Goddess. Move to your next turn. You cannot play cards this new turn. Don't activate start end of turn effects.
Okay.
Valkyrie is white. On 7, destroy 1 opposing warrior. Valkyrie Erst. Strengthen if a card was destroyed this turn until end of turn. Valkyrie Brunhilde. Resilience 1. Strengthen for every on the field. All right.
I'm going to assume this is Warrior. I really like this deck. It's very interesting. Mission of the Time Goddess is just a funny card. So yeah, what it sounds like, what you want to do is, Ride of the Valkyries into Missions of the Time Goddess into using all of your warriors, and then you would do it in a specific order. You would go, I believe, Svite to destroy an opposing warrior, Eris to strengthen if there was a card, if a card was destroyed this turn, and then you would do Brunhilde to strengthen for every. Yeah, so I think it's supposed to say warrior on the field instead of every on-field warrior. Oh, for every on-field warrior. So every warrior on the field. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, then you would do that, and then she would strengthen to a strong with overwhelm, which I believe is enough to win the game outright from... Yeah, this is enough damage on board to win game outright. So yeah, I think it's a really cool combo. I think it's a really cool perfect draw-y way to kind of mimic that same combo. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3. And I do want to kind of go over my scoring real quick. 5 is no notes. I cannot think of a better way to do this, and I can't think of any way to improve it. 4 means it's really, really good, but I think it could be better in certain ways. 3, very good, very solid. I just see that there is more potential that you haven't quite tapped into yet. So it's good, but I think it could be better. A 2 means I see where you're going, but I don't think you quite made it as good as it could have been. And then a 1 isn't mean it's necessarily bad. It's that you have a lot of potential that you just haven't fulfilled. So 1 and a 2 are very close, but I think a 1 is, I can see where you're going, but I just don't think you've really tapped into it. So a 3 is still really, really good. I just think that you could have gone even harder into it.
I think I'm also going to give this a 3. Mostly because I think you've done the mechanics from his deck pretty well. I want to see more cards that could potentially reflect Siegfried's personality, and I think Oracle could have been a very interesting way to do it. Because you have, well, the mechanic of forcing it upon doing it, but also you have ways that interact with cards with the Oracle effects. So I think you focusing on the 3 Goddess combo and like the 3 Valkyrie he has in the show might have tunnel visioned a bit much. I still, like, this doesn't say that the cards are bad at all. You couldn't carry personality with other cards, but I think you could have designed a lot more into Siegfried's personality that we see him in the show, where he can come off as condescending and arrogant more. I think that would be fun to see. Also, if you just somehow make a card where it can reference him throwing roses, that would be very funny. But I'll give you a 3 on this.
To be fair, though, they did say that the entire idea was to copy his game plan from the show.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's perfectly true, but I mentioned earlier, my rating is more than just how do you copy, like, their game plan. I'm looking into how do you represent the character themselves in their deck. In Perfect Draw. Perfect Draw is a lot more... It has a lot of room where you're able to experiment to express the character, and I think you did a good part of it, but I think you could expand on other parts of his personality in it. Again, I'm not saying that they did bad. I give it a 3. I'm like, a 3 is good.
Alright. For line of play, I'm going to give it a 4. You need to have the right cards in play, but if you have the right cards ready to go, specifically Time Goddess, Ride of the Valkyries, and every single Valkyrie card in your hand, that's pretty much a game over. It's really pretty much a game over. But it's super situational, because you'd have to have all of that. But overall, the cards are still pretty strong on their own. So I am going to give it a 4. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to deck number 3, shall we? This run is from Shami Moneybags Yama. All right. Their character is from Arc 5, Shingo Sabatari. The deck includes the keyword bounce, which returns target cards back to their owner hands, like bounce effects from Yu-Gi-Oh! And rather than trying to read their description on the entry that they put, I'm just going to read their keyword card instead.
Oh my god, I wish Noble was here. to say-
Oh, you need me to explain what my deck can do? Of course. Such an excellent and elite duelist like me just has the perfect strategies. With bounce, I can return cards back to the owner's hands. I'm sure such a complicated effect is too much for you to understand, but fear not! I am the greatest duelist of all. Shall you teach you? As long as my name is Shingo Sabatari.
Perfect.
What season was this from?
Arc 5.
He's like the first rival character to the main character, other than the Seto Kaiba character inserts. Is the best way I can describe it.
Well done, well done. Okay, you're welcome. I have the ability to be a obnoxious butthole. Got it. Alright. Meo Senju Daibakaze. As the ace is a strong, can't be summoned unless you tribute. On summon, bounce up to 2 cards your opponent controls. Yosenju Training Grounds is a normal item. Each time you summon, gain resource. Spend 1 to strengthen target warrior. 3, add 1 card from your deck or graveyard. Yosenju Secret Move is an invocation. During either player's turn, when you control Yosenju card, you can counter that on opponent's play. Yosenju Kamamitachi, normal warrior with follow-up. On summon, add 1 warrior from your deck to hand. At the end of the turn, bounce this card. Yosenju Kamanitachi is a normal warrior with follow-up. Shadow Strike. At the end of turn, bounce this card. Excuse me. And finally is Yosenju Kamaitachi. Follow-up on summon, bounce a card and opponent controls. At the end of turn, bounce this card. Is a normal warrior. All right.
I just don't know too much about Yosenju to begin with. So, God, I'm trying to remember what Yosenju does.
Well, it looks like they
me
do a
Google
lot
it.
of bouncing.
Yes, it does. Etymology, appearance, playstyle, Yosenju, monster. Oh, okay. They all share a spirit-like effect that returns themselves to the hand. Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, that makes it. Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense then.
Yeah, that should fix Connor's mic. I turned him up a bit. Thank you.
Okay.
Yay! People can hear my sweet yapping.
I'll give this one a 3. I'm sorry, I can't do better. I do not know enough about Yosenju to comfortably give it above a 3. But it's a really cool idea. Them bouncing back to your hand, bouncing themselves and your opponent's cards back to their hands is a really interesting thing. I've done it myself a couple of times in Dimension Chaser, so I like the idea.
I'm gonna have to give this one a 4. Mostly, it boosts it up from a 3 because you do a pretty good job on representing the effects of not only how they are in the game, but also how Sawatari plays it. Because there are specifically 2 cards that are referenced here, which are actually pendulum cards. Because Arc 5 was big into pendulum summoning, and you can set the scales. Yeah, no L and R gates. So how Xiaomi recreated that was giving all of them follow-up, or at least the 3 Kamiyamatachis. So I think that was a really fun way to recreate that little bit of the effect. I do enjoy that. And I also do enjoy just the overall... Bounce is just a simple keyword. I like that effect. So I'll give this a... Yeah, I feel comfortable giving this a 4. This is a pretty good way to show this part of Sawatari at this point in his story, which I believe was... It was during, like, the first major tournament arc of Arc 5, I think is when he used this. It's been a while since I watched Arc 5. But yeah.
Line of play, 5. This deck is busted AF. Holy shit. Alright. Use your staple to go fishing for first sword. Play first sword. Use that to go fishing for your second sword. Bounce back first sword to your hand. Play first sword. Go fishing for third sword. Play third sword. You can now just wipe the board of your opponent. Deal 3 damage, and then all of them bounce back to your hand to repeat again next turn.
Oh, wait. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
This deck is busted AF. One turn, if it's a 4 life point battle, you've dropped them to 1. If it's anything less than that, you win.
Damn.
You could do that on turn 1, which is nuts. This is definitely a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I can say that much for sure. Your opponent doesn't get to play pretty much Yu-Gi-Oh. True.
I do enjoy the keyword explainer card. It's very
yes,
charming.
there is the first turn. So if I'm playing first and the opponent hasn't played, they get to go before any attacks are done. But like, let's say you play second, boom, 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 you win. It's still nuts. All right, but yeah, that's a 5. Okay. Let us move on to deck number 4. This one is submitted by a little Fade Leaf. This deck is based off of Yugi Moto. That's another one for DM. Specifically the dark version that is the Pharaoh, the King of Games. It is centered around using the Dark Magician with a straightforward board wipe and beatdown plan with a simple yet effective traps to disrupt opponents. I made this deck specifically because I expected no one else would go for it out of fear of copying someone else. Yes, Rumia, this is Perfect Draw decks based off of Yu-Gi-Oh! That our community has submitted. Alright, so the trap keyword is invocations with the trap type can be placed set face down as weak items, which count as using your invocation or staple slot for the turn. They can be flipped up at any time their trigger condition is met and activated, but not on the turn they were set face down.
Loving it. I'm loving it.
All right, let's take a look at the deck. Spellbinding Circle is an invocation trap. Trigger. A warrior attacks this card. The attacking warrior loses all text, then weaken it. Dark Magician. The ultimate wizards in terms of attack and defense. It is the ace of the deck, and it is a strong warrior. That's it. Dark Magician Girl gains Overwhelm if Dark Magician is in the graveyard. She's a normal warrior. Monster Reborn. Summon a warrior from in any graveyard to your field. Yeah, that's Monster Reborn, all right. Dark Magic Attack is an invocation. If you control Dark Magician, destroy all items your opponent controls. Sorry, Amber. Blaze is like, why would you do this to Amber? I'm like, she runs an item deck.
You had to call her out specifically.
I know. Why you hit Amber?
And
Her deck already is the weakest.
And finally, Mirror Force. Trigger, an opponent's warrior attacks you. Destroy all warriors your opponent controls without Sentry.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's really cool. So I love this deck. The idea of turning traps into weak items is a really cool idea. Really encapsulates kind of the whole idea of trap cards and how Perfect Draw would handle them. Because attacking to destroy an item doesn't just mean attacking to destroy an item in like a literal game sense. Like in this narrative, it could be using an effect to destroy it or something like that. So I honestly love this. I think this is really cool. And then having Dark Magician, I would have been tempted to give it some type of effect or something. But no, it's just a strong ace, which makes perfect sense. And then you've got cards that revolve around it. And as long as it's on the field, you could do stuff better. I think this is a 5.
Ooh.
So, I kind of have I might be weird, and this might be a hot take, but I think this might, at least for me, for expression, this might be a more leaning towards... I think I'm going to give this a 2 for expression. The main reason why I say that is that this is no situation of we have one-for-one taken cards from the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And put them into Perfect Draw, which, to be fair, I really do enjoy.
That was the assignment.
I know, but it's making characters' decks into it, which the character is a lot more than just 6 cards and one-for-one the card. It's what do those cards do in the narrative? And Dark Magician, I'm disappointed where we don't see at least some reference to all of the support cards that Yugi has for the Dark Magician, like Thousand Knives, the Magical Box, Magical Hats. There's a bunch of cards that are very much associated with Dark Magician, and just seeing... Well, I think it's just that there's a lot of potential for it, but it goes really unexplored. I do enjoy how traps are done in this. I do give it that. Maybe I'll give it a 3 for that, but I do really want to see more towards capturing a lot more of the tricky, crafty games that Yuki employs with cards like the Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, rather than just seeing them be direct one-for-one literal parallels from the game. Because there's a lot of opportunities you can do with that in Perfect Draw, and I think there's a lot of potential to explore that hasn't been done.
Okay. Let's see. Line of play. You want to try to bait your opponent to attack to destroy them with Mirror Force, and then use your Dark Magician. You would also, once your Dark Magician's on the field, if they have some really strong items, you use the Dark Magic attack. This feels like a toolbox, which is very much an attempt-based deck. So, I'm going to give it a 4. It's not... No. I'm going to give it a 3. I don't want to give it a 4 because it's not overpowered, but it's still incredibly versatile. If I could give it a 3.5, I would, but I'm going to give it a 3. Mostly because of the fact that aside from wiping out your opponent's board, there's not too much else this deck does, which is not a bad thing, especially with your Dark Magician. But if something happens to your Dark Magician, your best card is Dark Magician Girl, which is a normal with Overwhelm. Given the fact that Strongs are harder to come by now, that's still pretty good. But I would like to see some more options as well. The Reborn the Monster is a great backup plan. I just don't see any... Essentially, like, the term I'd be looking for is game changers here. So, there's a lot of tools, a lot of capability, but I don't see a game changer, but that's fine, because Atem would just BS one up to the top of his deck anyway.
He would just perfect draw.
Exactly! Alright, so, moving from Atem, now we're gonna do Little Yugi. Apparently, the next deck is Normal Yugi, and this one is by Deuce Verve. Let's see. The only thing left to a duelist who chooses to fight is silence. Place the 7 ancient treasures inside the memory tablet and give the king's name. Then the door to the underworld shall open and welcome the king's spirit. But the eye shall see through the truth, the existence of the one who shall deprive the king of his sword and calm his spirit. There can only be one true king of games, and this story has just begun. You are Yugi, the only Yugi Moto of this world. So yes, we have a normal Yugi right after our Atem Yugi. So this seems oddly fitting.
This is actually awesome.
Alright, so hold on. Fix a little... I'm not seeing them on the Discord. While I'm reading through these cards, can one of our mods on the Discord check on Relax a little and make sure that they have the appropriate roles? Because apparently they can't see anything on Discord.
Oh no.
Alright, let me bring this up here. Alright, the Silent Swordsman is a weak warrior. At the start of each of your turns, strengthen. Silent Magician. The weak warrior is an ace. The start of each of your opponent's turn, strengthen. Mirage Ruler. Respond. You are attacked directly. Play each warrior from your grave that was destroyed this turn. Gold Sarcophagus. Respond. The opponent plays a staple or invocation. Immediately fumble that card. Gondora, the Dragon of Destruction. Weak warrior. Pay half your life, destroy all other warriors, and strengthen. At the end of turn, destroy this card. Valkyrion, the Magna Warrior. Overwhelm, mandatory focus. Tribute this card. Create 3 normal warriors. It is a strong warrior. I was hoping that there was a Magnet Warrior in this deck, and I am glad there is the combo one, and the fact that it splits. Beautiful.
It splits into 3. That's really cool.
All right.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 3. I'll give it a 3. My reasoning being that you have multiple warriors in this deck, I feel like, that feel like they could be the ace of their own deck. But to be fair, back then, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was a bit more like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 4. I'll bump it up to a 4. Like you've got Gandora, which really could be an ace in and of itself. You got the Magna Warrior, which again you can have an entire deck based around his Magna Warrior stuff. You've also got the Silent Swordsman and the Silent Magician, who are kind of representing the level mechanic. So I feel like there's a lot of stuff here, but I don't know if any of them really by themselves. Like by themselves, each card is really, really cool and interesting, but I don't know if they're super cohesive together.
Okay.
I think I'm also gonna give this one a 4, My main reason why is we have cards like Mirage Ruler and Gold Sarcophagus that reference specific moments in the ceremonial duel at the end of the series. I was looking through some of these cards last night just to overview them, just to make sure they're all good, and I got really excited when I saw Gold Sarcophagus, because it's the card that lets Little Yugi win the duel against Ateb, and I love how, yeah, you represent it with how it worked in the anime in that moment, and that's such a fun... Oh, I love that so well for what it's doing. I think what's keeping this from being a 5 overall is mostly just Silent Magician, Silent Swordsman. They're kind of just the same thing. I know there's like a small difference on like what they're doing, but I think I would have liked to see a bit more expression with them, leaning more towards the other cards in the deck. Either like potentially referencing some fun stuff that happened in the duels and whatnot. But I think you did a pretty good job narrowing down what made that final duel really special. So I'm gonna give you a 4.
All right. Let's see. I'm feeling the same way as the Attempt deck. I'm feeling it gets a 3, mostly because there's a bunch of tools, but no overarching battle plan to say. Cat, I'm not sure then, because I don't see your name anywhere on there, and I even scrolled back through the welcome list. I'll have to try to get one of the mods to look into this, because I can't do that and run the stream at the same time. I'm sorry.
Okay, what's the person's name?
Relax a little underscore 2975. They're in the YouTube chat. Where was I? Right, Toolbox. Okay, so it feels very Toolboxy again. A lot of cool options in there. I like the Silent Swordsman and the Silent Magician. I like the fact that they don't level up at the same time. One's on your turn, one's on your opponent's turn. But it feels like, again, more toolbox than overall combo. So it is definitely a 3 for power. It's got some good moves and good combos in there. But it is not game-breaking, so yeah, a 3 seems pretty fair. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to deck number 6, and then we're going to take a 5-minute break. So yeah, we'll clear deck number 6, we'll take a 5-minute break, and then we'll keep going. Okay, deck number 6 is from Time Kid. This is Nash from Zexal. It was one of the 7 Barians. The gimmick is if number cards would be destroyed, you discard one of their entombed cards instead. Alright, let's bring up the explainer card for more details. Number Warriors rules. So you want to know about number cards? Well, I guess I, Nash, the leader of the Barians, will have to teach you. If a number warrior would be destroyed, you can send one card under it to the discard pile instead. Alright, so let's start having a look. Number C101, Silent Honor Dark. It is the ace of the deck. It is a number warrior. It is strong. Lifelink 1. Once per turn, you may entomb one of your opponent's cards. For each entomb card, gain Piercer 1. Next is a second ace. Ooh, we got double ace in this deck. Number Warrior, normal. A number 101, Silent Honor Arc. Second strike, Fearsome 1. Ooh, and Shatter. Once per turn, you may entomb one of your opponent's cards. Invocation, Silent Deployment. If you don't have a warrior on the field, you may summon out a number card from discard or deck, and then entomb one opponent's card from their hand to that number. Barian's Chaos Draw invocation. Draw one card. If you have a number warrior in hand, you may summon it out, and until the end of your opponent's turn, it can't be targeted for effects. Normal warrior Crystal Shark. Once per turn, you may target one warrior and weaken it. Once per turn, if this card is in the discard, while a shark or number warrior is on the field, special summon this card. Normal warrior Abyss Shark. If there is a shark or number on the field, you may special summon this. While this card is on the field, all your number cards deal double damage.
Ooh, that's cool.
That is a very fishy deck. Also,
So
add another point to the Zexal decks.
I did. Currently, we're at 2, 3, and 1. So I don't know this guy's deck super well from like the anime, but I do love me Shark rank spam. I love this deck. I have it at Master Duel. It's a very fun deck. I love me the Armored Xyz engine. That being said, these are some cool cards. Silent Honor Arc, I believe, is a newer card, like about a year old or so. Silent Honor Arc, it's a really good card. It's interesting. I do like it a lot. I do wish that it had, besides just playing the cards, a way to represent Xyz summoning.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, again, you don't have to. Perfect Draw is meant to be a bit more of an abstraction of cool mechanics, less than showing them directly. So you can just say that they are, I overlay, access the overlay network or whatever, and then boom, have Xyz monsters. You can just RP it that way. That being said, I think we'll go ahead and give this one a 3. It's good, but I think it has untapped potential. I do like the whole numbers requiring getting rid of the entomb stuff. I feel like that'd be something really cool for like a long-running campaign. You keep running into these powerful boss monsters that focus around entombing cards underneath them. I think that'd be really cool. Oh, I just saw that the number warriors are also called number like on the description. I just noticed that. That's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and go with the 3. Oh, it's about 10 years old? Oh, I'm just stupid. Okay. I couldn't remember how old. For some reason I thought it was newer. I don't know why.
Do I be generous right now? You know what? Since I am also a humongous nerd for the Armored Xyz engine, I think this deserves a 5. It does a lot of great things with the entombing mechanic, trying to represent the Xyz material that, well, Xyz archetypes do have. There are a few cards here that represent cards in the game that are supposed to represent key moments in the anime, such as the Barian's Chaos Straw and everything. I really do love that. And you have the number effects represented in some way that's supposed to be able to be battled with in, like, the card effect, with, like, the number effect. That's really good. You do a bunch of little things to tie in Zexal's, like, overall narrative, and, like, little things that reference parts of the anime that are also technically referenced in the card game. I think this honestly deserves a 5. This is really well done.
All right. Line of play. This is a 5. This is busted. All you need is any number, and you immediately get started entombing your opponent's cards, then get both your sharks on the field, and boom, you basically win. Because the other shark, if you destroy it, brings the first shark back to the field. The shark that's on the field, as long as both sharks are there, your numbers deal double damage. And basically, you can entomb any of your opponent's strongest warriors once per turn.
Technically, Silent Deployment and Abyss Shark is just a walking one-turn kill.
It's busted. This is a 5 for power. This is just a straight up 5 for damage. This deck is quite literally a Zexal deck. This deck is very much in line with Zexal. All right.
Gives it the honorary score of 101.
All right. So with that being said, we are going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to clear some ads, and we'll come back and we'll start with the next deck. All right. Be
real
right
quick.
back. Yeah.
Wait, real quick. The person in YouTube who's having issues, go ahead. I can't find your it's not saying that you joined the server recently, so that might be the issue.
All right. I'll take a look, see if I can find them on the membership list during the break. Anyways,
Okay.
We'll be right back. All right, we're back from our short break. We also got Cat's issue solved. Next up is deck number 7, submitted by Schmitz. Let's take a look at...
Is that demo? Okay, I think it's about.
Use items to stall the game and burn out the opponent. Does it have a unique keyword? No. It is Luna. Luna from 5Ds. The only reason I know that, because they didn't put anything in here, is this card. Behold, the Ancient Fairy Dragon. It is a strong warrior ace with careful. Once per turn, you may destroy target item. If you do, gain 1 life and add 1 item from your deck or graveyard to your hand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fairy Archer is a weak warrior. Once per turn, deal 1 damage to target opponent. Oberon's Prank is a normal item with Inconspicuous. When any player gains 1 life, deal 1 damage to target opponent. Ancient Forest, Inconspicuous strong item. After a warrior attacks, destroy it at the end of turn. Pixie Ring is a normal item with Inconspicuous. Pressure 1. Your weakest warrior gains Inconspicuous. And lastly, Karibon is a weak warrior with Respawn. The first time an opponent's warrior attacks you directly each turn. When this card is attacked, instead return it to your hand. That's so cute.
I love Karibon.
I love this deck. I think it's really, really cute and cool. Honestly, the fairy deck it wasn't really a deck until recently. I think it was like about half a year ago that the Ancient Fairy cards got released. It's a cool little deck. I love this interpretation. It's not really like you have a boss monster with careful that's a strong, which means just neither of it can kill anything, which I find very funny. Got the burn cards. It's a really interesting deck. It just wants to outlast and just burn your opponent to death, which is really cool. And then we're replicating Ancient Fairy Dragon's effect, which I find to be super cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give this one a 4.
Mm-hmm. Luna's one of those interesting characters who's in the anime for a while, and we know she has cards. The biggest thing, though, is that she rarely duels in the series. So most of what you would probably have to pull for is her character. And the unfortunate part is that I haven't watched 5Ds in forever. But I do know that she is very much a softer and less aggressive than the other of the twins. And I think you did a pretty good job showing that part of her personality in the cards, very much so. I do enjoy the strong with careful. I think that might be my favorites. And Karibon's right up there. So I'll give this a 4. I think you did a good job replicating her general vibe through the cards. I think they fit pretty well.
Just real quick, I just want to say, Ancient Fairy Dragon be busted just like in the, just like always. Yes, it is.
You can pop an item, then just return it to your hand immediately and play it again.
Yeah.
So good.
There's a reason this card was banned in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Uh-huh.
Luna did duel a couple of times, that's for sure. It's just, she fell into the horrible curse that is a female character.
Man, there's so many cool, interesting female characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to see more of, like, them dueling in their decks and stuff. You just never get it. Like, Alexis Rhodes, I always wanted to see what her deck was about. The plant lady from 5Ds, I always wanted to know what her deck was about.
You want to know my favorite thing about Akiza from 5Ds? You want to know my favorite lore piece?
Huh.
She spent 3 episodes learning how to speed dueled once in a tag team, lost, and never did it again.
Bruh.
I think there's a YouTuber that I'm pretty sure you guys might actually know called Manga Kamen who actually did a whole series talking about the writing of like Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and like multiple parts of characters. They're fun watches.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another fun one. The female character, I can't remember her name, in Chaotic. She never duels on screen. She never has her own duel on screen or battle on screen. You see her as like a part of a 1v4 against somebody. No, I think it was a 4-player free for all or something. You saw that once and never again. Never again.
Right. Let's see. Yeah, Kiza dueled a few times. However, season 2, she learned how to ride the bike, participated in the tag team duel, lost in the tag team duel on the relay race duel, sorry, and that was it. That was the only time she dueled after learning how to do the speed duels. And it pisses me off. Like, why go through that entire arc just to sideline her? All right, my turn for power. I think this is fairly obvious with Ancient Fairy Dragon already banned in the real world. This version would need to be on the ban list as well, because sweet Murphy, that thing is broken. And every other card in this deck being either destroy or burn, this deck is busted on every card.
Just put Ancient Fairy Dragon Perfect Draw Edition up there with Star Moody Supernova Dragon, and there we go.
This is going on Silver Quasar's ban list for next year, I swear.
Yes.
To be honest, what's with DC's ban list in banning only, like, and limiting Dragon cards, specifically?
Because they're strong.
Yeah, but, like, I think there'd be, like, at least another type of card there. But they're only dragons.
Nah, man.
Someone needs to call Silver Quasar DC. I was just typing that. Yep. All right. Moving on. Now this deck almost got cut. However, it was such a really cool design. I reached out to the creator and was like, "Hey, we're going live in like a couple hours. You have about an hour to rework one of these cards because you are way over the character limit." And so they got back to me with a card that retools it, says the same thing, and is definitely under the character limit. Connor Blaze, I did post it in the DC chat for you to grab. That way you can see the proper one. But thank you, Saber, for trying to fix that. I do try to reach out to people to fix their stuff beforehand if I have enough time. Unfortunately, one deck I did try to reach out to 2 days before the close. They did not respond until 3 days after the close, so they were unfortunately cut.
Did you post it in DC or did you post it in... Oh, there it is, yeah.
Saber can post the original once I'm done reviewing it in the group chat thing there, like that specific section. But Saber's doing Yusei's Synchro deck. Synchro what?
Synchro Summon.
Oh my god.
What summon?
Synchro Summon.
What?
Oh my god. Synchro Summon.
What's that?
Well, you see, it explains the keyword
Wait,
here.
I suddenly stopped caring.
Well, that's really inconvenient due to Synchro Summoning not existing in Perfect Draw.
Alright, why don't you take the moment to explain the Synchro Summon rule?
Okay, so as described here, as explained the gimmick, Synchro Summon works pretty much the same as it does in normal Yu-Gi-Oh! However, cards go to the hand instead of the graveyard, and instead of levels, strength level is used to determine the material. From what I understand, I think this is where you basically add up, like, if
so like
one
a
card is
weak, so weak and a normal, you would get a strong, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the intent. It might be like how teamwork attack banding works, maybe, but I think it's just kind of the vibe. So I think it's the former rather than the latter, knowing how Saber designed their cards.
Let's take a look. Gosh, Saber's art is improving every single one of these. I swear, I swear, I think doing these card reviews has helped elevate her art every time.
Honestly, I always loved Saber art, but oh my god, this is amazing.
Yes, you gave a blank rule card, but that's okay. Alright, Stardust Dragon is a warrior synchro monster. If your opponent uses a card effect, you may sacrifice this card to negate the effect and destroy the card. At the end of that turn, this card returns to the field if the first effect succeeded. Here's your one. It is definitely the ace of the deck.
I love these
Junk-
animated cards. They look so cool.
Junk Warrior. When this is a normal warrior, when entering the field, summon one weak warrior. Weak warriors cannot be attacked. This card is strengthened for every weak warrior on your side of the field. Saber says weak plus weak equals normal. So it's teamwork effect,
it's like
but it's a permanent effect where you synchro up. So you need to go. So if you wanted to make it strong, you could do two weeks in a normal or something.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
work.
All right, Junk Synchron. When this warrior enters the field, you may summon a weak warrior from the graveyard or hand, and it has the ability to synchro summon. Speed Warrior is a weak warrior. When Speed Warrior clashes during the turn it's summoned, it has contender until the turn ends. When this warrior is used as material for Junk Warrior, you may resummon it from your hand. Also, I'd like to point out, Saber, I think your card description box is multiplied here. Because it looks like you have 1, 2, 3 boxes.
It might be. That also might just be artistic. I'm not sure. I think it's just artistic.
Yeah, could be. And lastly, before we get to the altered card, Sonic Chick. As long as Sonic Chick is on the field, your opponent's normal and strong warriors cannot kill weak warriors. She says it's just the art. Okay. If used as material for Stardust Dragon, you can immediately replay this card. It is a weak warrior. All right. And for the fixed version, we have Speed World. Activate from start of game. Each player per turn. Clash win is +1 speed counter. Clash loss -1 speed counter. Each player can summon for 1 speed counter a weak, for 2 speed counters normal, 3 speed counters strong, and always synchro monsters. I like this. Just for chat to see. Let me grab the original. Here is the original.
Beware, it's kind of flashy images.
Here is the original. Here is the rework. So, yeah, I had to ask her to cut down the amount of text. Alright, let's go! Blaze.
Blaze, kick this Scarred into overdrive.
Art amazing. Effects super on point. These are his cards from the beginning of the series, and they're all really iconic monsters. Because I remember when they recently did they started redoing Yusei's cards for some reworks, and I remember Junk Warrior got new art, I think, or not new art, like a new version of itself, and a bunch of these warriors got retrains that are just really good. And Speed World, really cool card. I'm giving this one a giving it a 4. Honest, yeah, 4. Really close to 5, but a 4. I like the way you do synchro summoning. That is the same way I was going to do synchro summoning if I ever decided to do that. And I just generally love it.
I think what really helps when I'm going to score this is that Perfect Draw already has a few mechanics that really helps Yusei's gimmick, I were to call it, which is what I describe as a bunch of weak monsters or pieces of scrap he uses to come together to make something stronger really work well. And I think how exactly he does it in the anime is reflected really well done with how synchros are done. I think it being similar to teamwork is definitely in favor of that, and the fact that he has a bunch of cards that help bring back the weak warriors constantly to then buff continuously the stronger cards. And his big ace is a protector card where its main thing is to protect his board. I think this is also deserving of a 5. It's also very easily to convince me to give this a 5, just how expressive the cards themselves are with the animated artwork. I try not to have art influence, but oh my god, these are so cool to look at. But regardless, I still would have probably given it a 5 with like how the mechanics reflect Yusei's like whole mentality with dueling. So I think you did very, very well with these.
Alright. I'm gonna be the odd one out. I'm gonna give Line of Play a 4. It is still a very strong deck with a lot of tools in it and a couple of win conditions. It's not overpowered broken, but then again, the Zexal cards are later on in the franchise, so that makes sense. But there's a lot of really good and useful tools, and the speed world really helps you be able to like play around some of your gimmicks. So I think a 4 is a very strong showing for this deck. So yeah, if I was to give any kind of extras, I think I'd like to see some more. But this is more so we would need more cards in this deck, and it's hard to do with only 6. I'd like to see the Synchro Monsters put in a side deck with, like, say, Junk Gardener, Junk Warrior, Stardust Dragon, and a couple of the other Junk ones, and then allow you to have more creativity with the regular monsters. But that's just me thinking for something that's not my category. But again, I still feel a 4 is very good for this, for the strength of this deck.
All right, I didn't mark that down as another 5Ds deck. That's the second one.
All right. Okay. I'm going to count this one as DM, even though it's DM light. Next up is by Steve Moto. Hold on. I need to get the right voice for this. Okay, so change your opponent's cards to be named Steve and give them a hug and stab them in the back. Also, shuffle well. This deck is based off of Yami Marek, aka Melvin, as seen from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. The keyword is Steve. The effective card is named Steve. All right.
Now we have an entry for a bridge.
I'm technically counting it as dual monsters. I'm only allowing it because it is still technically dual monsters. Hold on. I'm going to mute the microphone from chat for a moment because I need to test my voice here. All right. Who wants a hug? This is an invocation. Offer a hug. If your opponent accepts, you may destroy any card and deal 1 damage. If their name is Steve, they have to accept. The normal warrior Venadensum Steve. Once per turn, put a venom counter on target card. Cards with venom counters are Steve. Oh, they're not showing on screen. Hold on. Let me bring up the other 2 again. Hold on.
Okay.
Alright, so let's just do this and this. So, there we go. And then Venom Dancer Steve. Shuffle well, Pharaoh! Shuffle the deck until your next turn, or you stop shuffling, you don't take any damage! The Millennium Rod is my normal item, Yugi. I'm assuming that's inconspicuous. Inconspicuous! You control all warriors named Steve. Armored Maiden Steve is a normal warrior with resilience. When this card loses a clash, Steve, a warrior. Sacrifice a Steve, gain resilience. And finally, Mega Ultra Chicken Jockey. It's the ace monster of my deck, even though it's kind of weak. But tribute at Steve's. Strengthen this card for each Steve tributed, and Piercer for the number of Steves tributed. Medikish Tog will not be defeated today. Not by the likes of Steve.
You mean Steve won't be defeated? I think that's the joke.
No, my name is Melvin.
See?
All right. So, I have not watched that much of Abridged. But this is a really funny deck. I'm going to give it a 4.
You know, I really wanted to try to make my rankings a lot more, I don't want to say strict, but like a lot more, I want it to really feel like they earned their rankings. And even though I said like the past, like out of the past 3 were like, oh, 2 of them were a 5, I think this one also deserves a 5 just based off of how funny this is, because it's all references, but also it's layers of inside jokes with other stuff such as Dimension Chasers and the Minecraft movie of all things. It's I feel like I'm having like a piped dream or something, and the fact that there are mechanics that actually mesh well with other archetypes is what makes this so much funnier. Because Venom Dancer Steve functions how the Venom Dancers do in Minty's archetype, and Armored Maiden Steve functions like how Ellie's Armored Maiden cards do, and I love it. It's so good. My face hurts from laughing, so it's a 5.
Okay, I'm gonna be serious for line of play. Because I have to be, this is my job for this one. Line of play, I'm going to give this a solid 4. It's got an incredible win condition. Most of the other cards are very silly, but still do good effects. The whole point of this deck is to get as many cards named Steve as possible, stack them all, and create a gigantic ultra mega chicken jockey, and then beat your opponent with 1 hit. Melvin is a very strong duelist. I'm going to give you a solid 4 for this. The only way I could give it a 5 is if you, if that had Sniper instead of Piercer. Let's be real. Because if you're already sacrificing all your opponent's cards, the Piercer's not going to do anything. Would Ellie get Armored Maiden Steve? Yes, and slide it into the back of her binder and never use it.
Well, it's technically an Armor Maiden card, so I have to have it, but I don't mean I have to be happy about it.
I cannot wait to meet him in Last Bastion.
Alright. We're going to do 2 more decks, and then we're going to take another short break, and then we're going to do the last of the decks. Alright, so next up is from Cheesy Brie. This is rather than focus on burn damage, I want to imitate another frustrating punish for my opponent doing thing. So the gimmick is when you play Warriors, you cause your opponent to fumble a specific game action. And this is probably one of my favorite characters in Yu-Gi-Oh's decks. This is Blue Angel from Vrains. This is the Trickstar deck. The unique keyword is Spotlight. Can only activated once during your turn. Return a warrior to your hand to grant the listed effect. Let's take a look at the Trickstars, shall we? Invocation, Trickstar Reincarnation. Target player discards their hand, then draws that many cards. Return a warrior from your graveyard to your hand. Normal warrior, Trickstar Licorice. When played, fumble your opponent's next draw. Spotlight, gain Piercer 1 until end of turn. A weak warrior, Trickstar Lilybell. Sniper 1. Spotlight, gains Shadow Strike until end of turn. An item, normal, Trickstar Light Stage. Your opponents, your warriors gain Piercer 1. When a warrior is returned to your hand, create a weak warrior. And see, the ace of the deck is Trickstar Holy Angel. Is a normal warrior. When played, fumble your opponent's next attack. Spotlight, strengthen this warrior. And lastly, Trickstar Candina. Is a normal warrior. When played, fumble your opponent's next invocation play, and the Spotlight is draw a card.
I didn't know it was possible to recreate how annoying Trickstars can be and not have it be the burn variant. But you have succeeded. I have played a little bit of Trickstar when it was like one of the featured decks you could pick for some event for Master Duel. And I really do enjoy it. It's a really interesting, fun deck that punishes your opponent for doing the wrong kind of plays. And you have captured that. And I'm just amazed you don't have some way of causing the reincarnation lockout. Which would be even funnier if you had something for that. Minus 200, yes. It's minus 200. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3. Mostly because I don't know well, I'll give it a 4. I think it's a good execution of your idea. It's really interesting. I like the, none of them by themselves. Oh, actually, no way. Technically, Trickstar Licorice does fumble your opponent's next draw. So yeah, you can do reincarnation shenanigans. Never mind. Oh, bye, bye, cat. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, no, that is, oh, Jesus Christ, it's be annoying deck to go up against.
I really do enjoy two things about it. One, how the fumble is supposed to represent the burn strategy of it. I think that's a very fun way to do that with the knowing of how Perfect Draw as a system gives you so little light. Trying to replicate the burn without just doing direct burn damage is very hard to do. And I think you've done a wonderful job. I also love the Spotlight mechanic because if anyone doesn't remember, Blue Angel is a VTuber, more or less. She's a performer. She's a pop star. Her whole thing is performing. So I think having the ability to highlight her warriors and have them take the spotlight literally from her entire board is such a fun way to include that flavor a part of her deck. So I think that deserves a 5. It's a really fun gimmick where you bounce your own cards back to gain extra benefits, and I really love it.
All right, control the board. This is a 5. This is literally a control deck. The whole point of this deck is to prevent your opponent from being able to successfully play anything. It's not perfect, but it is a solid build for this deck. So I'm giving it a solid 5 for control of the board. It prevents your opponents from being able to do things most of the time, which is good. It's not 100% guaranteed. It also basically has counterpoints where if you need them, you can do extra things. Basically, returning one angel to your hand to trigger a spotlight effect. And one of them, being the ace, just gets a strengthen. It's not till end of turn, it's just a straight strengthen, which is very good to help you deal with stronger threats on the board. I would say there are some things like removal would be good against this deck, but no deck is perfect, and which is fine. but the fact that you can also force, like, you can trigger the ability to basically make them fumble their next draw, and then force everybody to discard and redraw their hands, redrawing, then you fumble the redraw. That's a little bit messed up, and I love it. So I'm giving that a solid 5. All right. Let's look at the last one before we go on our second break. This one is from Can of Moths. And let me just take a little bow first, because we have some Performer Pals! We have Performer Pals from our wonderful duelist, Yuya! Playing modular warriors that can double as items, taking advantage of their unique effects in each form to set up a massive pendulum summon and win the battle damage from 2 Odd Eyes dragons. Alright, so I'm going to read...
Oh, which series is this considered? And I'm sorry, I'm not...
Arc V.
Sure.
Arc 5.
Arc V. Okay.
Alright, so the pendulum keyword is literally pendulum. If you don't know how pendulum works, I'll read this real quick. It is a little bit lengthy because it's literally just describing Yu-Gi-Oh! Pendulums. Actually, I'm going to paraphrase this. Basically, when it's in the item zone, you can only trigger the item effects. You can only have 2 of them as items. If it's in the monster zone, it only has the monster effect. It does not have the pendulum effects. That's basically the long and short of how the pendulum works. And if you know how pendulum works, it has a number from high and low, and then lets you summon anything in between those numbers. So let's go ahead and start with Performer Pal Cheermole. The weak warrior with Pendulum 6. Your warriors have Overwhelm. So when it's in the pendulum zone, aka the item slot, your warriors have Overwhelm. When it's not, and it's a warrior, once per turn, you may strengthen or weaken target warrior. A weak warrior, Performer Pal Lizard Draw. For Pendulum 5, activate Offering and then draw 1. For normal monster effect, respond. Another warrior you control is destroyed. Draw 1. Normal warrior, Performer Pal Daggerman. In the Pendulum Zone, it's Pendulum 2. When this item enters, add a card from your graveyard to hand. Otherwise, when this card is Pendulum summoned, you may discard 1 and draw 1. A weak warrior, Pendulum 1. Time Breaker Magician. Each turn, a warrior you control gains Resilience 1 until the end step. When played normally, activate. Remove a warrior and this card from play until your next turn. Weak warrior with the Pendulum 3. Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. Activate. Play an item from your hand is the Pendulum effect. As a monster, it has second strike tribute. Weaken all opponents' cards, then strengthen for each card destroyed this way. And the normal ace of the deck is the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Pendulum 4. So in the Pendulum Zone, respond. Negate the first damage you take in a clash each turn. And you also focus, destroy this card, and draw 1. You could also, as a normal warrior, have Piercer 2. So one thing I'm going to point out for Blaze and Connor is that with the pendulum numbers in there, I'm assuming that if you have like a Pendulum 1 and a Pendulum 6 on the other end, if you have the cards Pendulum 2, 3, 4, and 5 in your hand, you could just play all four of those cards.
I'm guessing that's how that works. That's like the one thing I'm wondering about.
Jam says yes, that is correct.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought, because that's how Pendulum worked in the series, which is why it was broken and immediately changed.
Man, like, Pendulum is such a weird mechanic because sometimes they make it... When they first added it, they made it broke. When it was first added, it sucked because they were overly cautious, and then they broke it. And then they were too scared to make it good ever again, so now we only ever get, like, Velmonicas.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I do love me Velmonicas. I think Velmonicas are really, really cool. They're just not good. I have, like, the entire core, and I wanted to build a deck around it. It's just so bad. Anyways.
Moth also says that, yes,
one...
that was the intent as well.
Okay. I will go ahead and go with a 3 for this. I'm not super familiar with his deck, but it is doing what Performer Pal is known for, which is having a bunch of interesting, unique effects. And then let you Pendulum summon a bunch of guys into your Odd Eyes monster. So I'm liking it.
I think I'm also going to give this a 3, mostly because it's... I think it might be almost a opposite problem that I've been having. Oh, I wouldn't really say problem. I don't think that's fair to say. You're referencing a bunch of different parts of Yuma's deck, and to be fair, the Odd Eye strategy has a lot of things on it. You have Odd Eyes cards, you have the Magician cards, you have the Performer Pal stuff. It's a whole grab bag of stuff because Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 is a wild ride, and I do like that you do reference a bit here and there and everything. I think I want to see at least... I think you did a good job sampling everything, but I don't really see what any one of these exact aspects of Yuma's deck is being highlighted here, or like expanded upon. Again, I think you did a good job with each individual card, but it feels like that they could really be done to flesh out if you focused specifically on the Pendulum Magician stuff, or find some way to get all of them to work together in some general like theme that I can't relate to all of you yet. I don't know how to personally do it myself, but I feel like there is potential for it and it's possible. And I think with what the ones that you have made, I think you made a pretty good job representing them as individual cards in Perfect Draw.
Alright, power level for line of play the whole point of this deck is to get as many cards into your hand so that way you can board wipe and then just crush your opponent. It is a very solid deck. There's a lot of viable options to get what you want out when you need it. There's a lot of positive plays to playing them both in Pendulum Zone and as monsters for every card. I'm going to give this a 4. There's no overwhelming strength aside from getting your maximum Pendulum out, which is not necessarily a requirement to win with this deck. The Odd Eyes Raging is your basically to win button, even though your Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon is your ace, which I find is interesting. But overall, I feel like this is a solid deck with a lot of potential, which is basically Yuya's deck. So yeah, I'm giving this a solid 4. And with that said, we have 2 decks left to look over. We are going to take another short break, just stretch, get our drinks and everything, and then we'll look at the last 2 decks. We'll be right back. All right, chat, we're back. We've got 2 decks left to look at. Then we'll do a little bit of hangout chat and then wrap up for the night or day or what have you. So next up is from Key. You know what, Blaze? Why don't you read the thing for this one? Like, start with the explain the gimmick.
Was I reading this? I'm confused.
I just said, why don't you do it?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was not paying quite enough attention. I'm sorry. Explain the gimmick. Hello to Miss Nell and every judge here. This will be my second ever submission to these card reviews, and I'm hoping one day I can make a deck capable of getting a perfect score. Currently, I'm aiming for a 13 out of 15 today. So, I hope I can impress you with my deck making skills. This is from Keep, Crystallized Keep. The gimmick of the deck now: use the power of XZ's resource to gain the edge on your opponent. Keep summoning monsters, double down, and pressure with evocations. And unleash the might of number warriors.
All right.
Does this deck have a unique keyword? Go ahead.
Nope, go ahead. I was going to say, don't forget that part.
Yes, XZ's. Flavor text for resource based off of XZ's material introduced in Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal.
All right. So let's start off with Heat and Heal. Is an invocation with follow-up. Target warrior you control has XZs. Gain 1 XZs. Invocation. Hyper rank up magic ultimate force. This is hilarious. We had both versions of the rank up card now. And they both use the different arts. This is beautiful. Invocation. Response. An opponent attacks. Tribute a warrior you control. Summon a warrior from your deck or graveyard. Shining Draw. Invocation. Response. An opponent attacks. Draw 1 card and immediately play it if possible. If it's a warrior, gain Lock On.
Okay.
Number 99, Utopic Dragon. It is a strong warrior with mandatory focus. When played, gain 3 XZs. Use 1 XZs. Add a card from your graveyard to your hand. Number 39, Utopia Roots is a weak warrior. When played, gain 2 XZs. Respond. An opponent attacks. Use 1 XZs. Negate the attack. Gain Strengthen. And number C39, Utopia Ray. Normal warrior. When played, gain 2 XZs. Use 1 XZs to strengthen this warrior or weaken an opponent's card until the end of their turn. Alright, hold up. So, I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna just look over at Lo. I'm gonna look over at Key and be like, let me just do this. The two of you built a single deck and decided to split the cards between you, didn't you?
They're not the same character, though.
They're both number 39 Utopia decks.
Yeah, but one's Yuma, and this one is Astral. Because it's Astral's Shining Draw.
Connor, I hate you.
And you hate me for what they did in the last episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal anime where Astral did the freaking dual judge thing that they did in the original series. It's literally what they did in OG Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just with Astral and Yuma. You hate me because I'm right.
No, I hate you because this is literally one deck that has been split down the middle.
Different ways of the gimmick. One uses, like, Fusion Destiny, the other one uses Resource.
I think I'm gonna give this one, I'm sorry, this is probably gonna get a 3 from me. I kind of get the idea of the XZ as a resource, but it doesn't feel like XZ summoning to me. personally. That's really about all I can say about it. I do like the deck. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool way of using resource, but I don't think it gives me the feeling of Xyz Summon, personally. I'm sorry.
I think I'm gonna have to give this one a 5, and there's a very specific reason why I'm giving it a 5. There's all the other like parts and reasons of like we have fun little references such as the Shining Draw, the hyper rank up stuff, and how that stuff works in the anime and whatnot. But also, something very specific happens in the ceremonial duel at the end of Zexal. Astral cheats out a bunch of the number cards in his deck, primarily the number 39 and all of its variants. So seeing how, yeah, it doesn't Xyz Summon in the traditional sense of using the materials, in that final duel, Astral constantly subverts the cost and just cheats out the monsters themselves whole and uses other effects to grant them materials. So I think that's a really good way to show that part of him in the series. So I think that's a really good job, the fact that it doesn't include traditional Xyz summoning or a way to show that off, like how we saw earlier in the card review. So that's why I'm giving it a 5.
For control of the board, I'm gonna give this a 4. It's got some very strong cards with some very strong effects. However, your ability to gain Xyz is not as abundant, given the fact of how much you would have, how much you're being expected to spend to keep stuff alive or use effects. Your effects are strong. Don't get me wrong, like the negating attack and stuff like that. However, that's not negating attack for the entire turn. That's negating a singular attack. So you're going to be burning a lot of Xyz when trying to prevent from a swarm deck. It is a solid strategy with some interesting abilities. However, once again, your resource is your limit, and it does not seem to have a lot of ways to gain those resources. It is still strong, so I'm giving it a 4. There are some ways to improve this, but that's what Perfect Draw is for. So you have more effects. Obviously, I would love to give this a 5 with control of the board, but once again, it's the resource chewing through that you have to use in order to keep yourself going with this engine, essentially.
You want to know something funny I discovered looking at these cards?
What's that?
This deck has an infinite.
It does.
Play Heat and Heal, target Utopic Dragon, use its what effect to add, use that 1 Xyz it gained to... Well, you don't target, you just gain the resource, but you add the 1 Xyz back to your hand. You've gone completely neutral in card advantage. You basically created an infinite storm engine with no payout, and that's really funny to me.
Alright. Let's move on to our final deck. This is from Carlos is a Goat. Connor, why don't you explain the gimmick and read the keyword?
Alright. Explain the gimmick. This deck is based off the cards and playstyle of Shun Kurosaki from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. He's the guy who uses the Raid Raptors. Shun's Raid Raptors had a bunch of card destruction effects that would continuously activate by ranking up into new Raid Raptors. The Sigil Bees can continuously advance every turn into eldritch creatures of greater and greater complexity to the human perception, destroying the opponent's cards as they do. The Summon Army staple and the Facade staple are highly recommended for this deck. Hey! That's cool.
Alright. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look. I've reorganized the warriors in that will look, so we'll start at the weakest and work our way up. Alright, Complex Over Sigil is an invocation. Sacrifice an advanced card you control to advance play a card of equal or higher strength from your hand. Demystify the Sigils is a normal item. Once per turn, you may sacrifice an advanced card to free play a sigil card of lower strength from your hand or graveyard. Then choose one. Draw one or create a weak sigil bird. Also, I love the hand drawing.
That's really nice, actually.
Sigil Beast Mystery Phoenix. Advance Overwhelm. It's a weak. When play, destroy target's card. Once per game on any turn, free play this card from your graveyard. Normal Sigil Beast Unknowable Angel. When played, choose one. Return a card used to play this card from the field. Return a sigil card in your graveyard to your hand, and then create a weak sigil bird. Sigil Beast Esoteric Quetzalcoatl is a strong advance, must be advanced from a strong warriors. Oops, we got this in reverse, but okay. When played, kill a card for every card sacrificed this turn. If 3 or more cards were killed, gain Overwhelm. And the Sigil Beast Impossible Griffin is a strong advanced. Can attack directly except the turn it's played. When this card is destroyed, destroy a card. Renovelis might actually have to finally pull the trigger and get the book and make it a Jama deck. Yes! Get the book. Get the book.
We're making our Jama deck, yes. We should get Nova to judge whenever you submit an Ojama deck.
Just abduct him on what he's doing right immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Alright, Blaze, go ahead. Tell us about the novelty of this deck.
So I was just reading over how advanced works because it's melting my brain a little bit. So you have to take 2 weeks, sacrifice them to create the first one. But you have to take 2 normals to create. Okay, I think I understand. It's an interesting deck. I have no reference of the character this is based off of. I have no idea how well it relates to that.
He's the really angry Yuya.
He is technically not a Yuya, actually.
Oh, right, it's the other guy.
Yeah, he's the friend of the really angry Yuya, but he's not the angry Yuya.
Yeah, he's the best friend of the really angry Yuya.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's an interesting deck. I do like it. I'll give it a 3. I don't know anything about what it's based off because I don't think this is an actual Yu-Gi-Oh deck. So I don't have any reference for it from Yu-Gi-Oh or from the show.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's not a direct translation of Raid Raptors. It's a reskin of it. But
okay.
Yeah, I think that's what they were going for, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but again, it's not Raid Raptors, and that was kind of the idea for this entry, this themed entry.
So, for the sake of this, for it kind of not being a part of the themed entry, I won't rate it the same way as I would the themed one, because this isn't a Yu-Gi-Oh character, and I don't think it's fair for me just to be like, one, it's not based off of anything. That's not fair. Mm-hmm. The expression, I really do like how, from the Sigil Beast for how it looks. I'm not sure if anyone has seen the arts of these, but the art is these really cool multicolored sigils. We have one for the weak and the normal one. I can only assume it gets more elaborate and multicolored as it goes on. And I would love to see full arts of this. It gives me the mind of all the sigils breaking apart when they're sacrificed and reforming into the larger winged creatures. And I think that's a really cool visual effect. Along with Complex Over Sigil and demystifying the sigil, kind of parodying like this little ancient narrative, like old Aztec-y or Egyptian like iconography. And you have either treasure hunters or archaeologists going back to see this. It reminds me of It reminds me of Earthbound Immortals, actually, and I really do love the visual this is all making. So I'm going to give this a 4. It's a really, really great visual, like, helped simplified by the mechanics of the deck, and I very much enjoy that.
Okay. I can't judge based off of artwork. I can't judge based off of theme. That being said, I like the idea of this deck. I wish it was actually the Raid Raptors, but I get the idea of wanting to put your own twist on it with a different card type. For power of this deck, though, for line of play, I would say this deck is a solid 3. In order to actually get your ultra-powered board-wiping creature to control this board, you need to blow up at least 3 creatures in one turn. That is going to be difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. There's a lot of options for you to play through stuff, but I would say overall it's still got a lot of win con. It has a lot of power. Does not have a lot of option. I would say, yeah, a solid 3. This is a very good showing for a deck. I would probably retool some of the stuff and maybe make it so that way when you are upgrading, maybe some of the effects carried over. And then that way you could make some of the lower powered ones have more powerful abilities, and that way they stack on top as you're essentially ranking up. If that makes any sense. But I feel like this is a good thing. It's definitely legally distinct Raid Raptors, but it doesn't taste the same to me, if that makes any sense. But that's not my category. For just power and line to play, I'm giving it a 3. But that was our last deck for submissions. We only had one disqualification because they submitted a text document with the cards pasted in the text document rather than pasting the individual cards. As a reminder, please make sure you submit the actual physical cards. I can't present the cards in a text document. That's why it says to submit the individual cards and a text document. So, final tally is in. With the most entries is Duel Monsters at 4. Followed by Zexal at 3, which surprises me. Arc 5 also at 3, so they're tied for second place. Fourth place would be 5Ds with 2. And coming in last is Brains with 1. I am so glad that not only did Brains get a rep, but it's my favorite girl, Blue Angel. I am so thankful for the Blue Angel deck. You have no idea. Thank you. GX did not get a single entry, though. I feel bad. Same with Sevens or Go Rush.
Oh my god, like, there wasn't, like, you could have done so much with, like, the level armed dragons, like, you could have done so much with Kite, like, oh my god, I really wish we had see more, like, oh my god.
Hold on.
That's just me, though. I know that's just me.
You know, chat, hold on. There was at least 7 people saying in the Discord, I'm not going to make Kaiba because somebody else is making Kaiba. As you can see here, not a single goddamn person made Kaiba. And a week before the submissions closed, I told y'all that nobody made Kaiba yet.
It was so bad that there was no Kaiba, I had to make my own Kaiba deck in the Discord. A lot of people actually like that one. I feel happy about that.
You know, chats like Ubel would be cool. Yeah, Ubel would be an interesting deck. Moto was like, I was thinking of doing Sevens, but I had to follow my inspiration when it struck me. That is completely fair. Just imagine how Kaiba feels. Kaiba's like, screw the rules, I have money.
I feel like Kaiba would just rigged us for his score and just gave it all 5s.
The one submitter who called that nobody else would be doing Yugi nailed. I mean, fair.
Yeah.
We had Yugi, and we had Atem, and we had Melvin, aka Merrick Ishtar, and then we had that one weird guy from the filler series. Oh my goodness. I'm scared because of novelty. Oh, Blaze, Shabby's coming for you now.
Oh my god. Which one was Shammy's?
It was the Yosenjus, I think.
I'm sorry, I don't know Yosenjus. Who plays Yosenjus in this day and age? Come on.
Karisawa, that's who.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I haven't watched most of the animes, okay? I've watched GX, I've watched the original, I watched a little bit of Zexal, and that's really it. Oh, and the beginning couple episodes of Arc 5, I believe. Oh, and 5.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Generation Next.
Game on, get your game on.
Honestly, GX is more of my anime when I think of Yu-Gi-Oh! I think is more GX for me. Because, so, like, I remember watching the 4Kids dub as it released towards the end of DM, but at the same time, GX was premiering, I want to say on Cartoon Network at the same time. I don't remember exactly, but no, it was really good. And just GX, I love Chaz. I love his armored dragons. I love a lot of the Neospatians. I love the heroes. I think those are really cool. I think that's where my love of Toolbox comes from. Toolbox decks instead of combo decks, but that's just me. You can at least promise me you read the cards and give me a proper rating, please. All right, I'll look over Yosenjus, okay? I'll look over the Yosenjus.
Saber had the funniest comments. I hate you, Bell. They're the reason Jaden didn't get with Alexis.
Fair.
That's Yubel. She's the demon who lives inside my head.
All right.
Also, chat, you might have noticed on screen I have disabled the card redeem. I went to go pick up some packs today, and the shop that I was going to get the dollar store packs did not have any. And I was not spending 4 times the price on a 30 pack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Randoms when there's only 3 archetypes in Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually give a flap about. They also had One Piece cards. I don't really care about One Piece, and they have Lorcana, and I don't really care about Lorcana.
Man, I want to like Lorcana. It's just... It was such an expensive game to get into when it first came out. And just the community around where I live just isn't very large for Lorcana. But it's a fun game. It's much more slow-paced.
I am still searching for people to play the Digimon card game in my area.
You know, if they had packs of Digimon at the dollar store, I probably would have grabbed it. That being said, the other main card store that I walked past to get there was closed, so I couldn't even pick up a normal booster.
Ooh. I'm missing. Oh, this is just This is so weird. This is a reminder, because we're pushing for subs and all that kind of stuff, and through a strange set of circumstances, I guess this is me plugging subs and stuff like that. So a strange set of circumstances. If we can get to 10K, I will cosplay Nell at Gen Con when we go to it next. So if you want to see me cosplay Nell, you should go ahead and subscribe.
Speaking of subscribing, if any of you who's watching is not subscribing, please do so right now, because we're currently at 1,999 subs.
We are 1 sub away.
We are currently 1 sub away from 2,000 subs. That's a lot of sandwich.
Yeah, it's true.
But when you are Nell or is Nell, what will happen to the universe? I'll still be me. Blaze would just be doing a cosplay of me. There's a difference.
True. No, if we get 10,000, will you do some type of cosplay?
Probably. I would need to figure that out, but most likely.
All right, I think we were about out of.
We're out of decks. Do we have any other questions before we wrap up tonight?
Do we have a favorite deck from the submissions?
Blue Angel, Blue Angel, Blue Angel, Blue Angel.
Yeah!
For me, it was the Dark Magician deck. I thought that was amazing.
I don't want to double up. The Blue Angel is definitely probably one of my favorites. But I will say, it's either between the Yusei deck that Saber did, or it's the Steve deck. I really do love the Steve deck a lot. It's really silly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Saber's deck as well, but I gotta rep me my favorite character, which is Blue Angel, and the fact that that deck functions the same, but doesn't revolve around burn, but other ways to punish the opponent was beautiful.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm so happy with how that one looks. It makes me feel good saying it like that. Because I always like doing burn decks once in a while, so I'm like, how would you do a burn deck in Perfect Draw? And that feels like one of the best ways to replicate it.
Stupid question, if I make a keyword that has a sub-term for it, will it be a separate keyword and not allowed, or is that fine? I have evidence deck where I'm going to look for a keyword in the graveyard to inherit the effect. Just ask if I can use investigate rather than search for evidence and conserve half the characters. Is this specifically for looking for a keyword in the graveyard?
So what it sounds like is their keyword essentially has two parts. You have like the evidence and then looking for that evidence while it's in the graveyard.
Because I'm very specifically asking if it's looking only in the graveyard, not in the deck. Kind of like the instance of fusion potential looking in the grave for the effect to inherit. All right, hold on 2 seconds. All right, take a look at on air, please.
Say again?
On air, please.
Okay, on air. Let me see. Sure, yeah, no, you can go ahead.
All right, so, Pokemon, I've got good news for you. We actually have a keyword coming for this. It is going to be in one of the players' decks. It is called Echo. You search your graveyard for one keyword effect, and you can apply it to the card with Echo. So, like as an example, if you have a card with Sniper 1 in the graveyard, and you play a card that has Echo, you can Echo the Sniper 1. So it basically copies that effect. It is not part of the word guide yet, but I'm telling you about it now. Since you did ask about this, it will be an official keyword that we have, so that will save you a keyword. DC spoilers, kind of. You don't know whose deck it is. You don't know exactly where it's going to fit in the deck or how it's going to fit in the deck. You just know it's a keyword that's coming. Are we getting an update to the keyword list Probably. We should get Ice to reformat that so we can basically come up with a new version.
Agreed.
That could probably use a good cleanup.
I have a question. Once Pokemon's question is answered, would you be more invested in seeing a Baldur's Gate 3 deck or more support to my original Apex Monster Hunter deck? If I did the second one, would it be okay to add another keyword since Apex already established in the old card review? Since Apex is not one of our keywords, you would need to use your original keyword or come up with a different one and not use Apex. As for which one, I say go with whatever one inspires you more. I will write down in the custom card design the exact wording of how Echo works for chat, so you all know. Echo.
I need to let you know right now, I've been refreshing the YouTube page because I know we're like 1 sub away from 2K.
All right. Is there anything else before we go ahead and get off for the night?
All right, there we go. I just put in how Echo works there. I'll tell you how Echo works, 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 Echo works. Chat. All right, I love you all. Y'all are amazing. We're going to wrap things up here. Thank you so very much for watching. No stream tomorrow. We're going to be doing some more recording. But I will see about streaming on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll have to see how that goes. I will say, however, I have a collab on either the 1st or 2nd where I'm going to be playing a game over on Poyo's channel with them. And I also have an upcoming collab. Apparently, we're going to be doing one in the middle of the month sometime with Alma in April. I'm not sure. I can't remember the game off the top of my head, but she's like wanting to collab, so it's been a while. So with that being said, we'll catch you all on the next episode. Love you lots. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.